Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you sound marvelous. You
Excellent.
sound marvelous. Or
All right.
maybe DC-ist, if you in a DC mood. I don't know. Caleb Reynolds in the house. Let's go. Howdy, Rex and she,
S.A.
she,
Shadowhawk.
oh, abbreviated without any dots. Shadowhawk. Okay. Yes. hmm Welcome
Yeah,
to a
okay.
brand new month, by the way.
Yeah,
December.
yeah, sure is.
Uh huh. And how was the
Yeah, we're
weather
supposed to get
today?
another
It
6
is
inches of
wet
snow
and
tonight. Yeah.
pissy and dreary here and cold.
Yeah, I'm supposed to get another 6 inches of snow. Hooray.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joy and
And
rapture.
is it a powdery dry snow? Because there's a difference. Or is it a wet snow?
Just depends. And you never know from snow to snow.
Mm hmm. Mm hmm. Well, what's your usual up there? Wet and sticky?
Hey, again, you just never
You
know,
never
Rex.
know. Okay.
Sometimes it's super light and powdery, and you can clear your sidewalks with a leaf blower. And
Mm
other times you're out there busting your ass for hours to dig out, 3 inches of super heavy shit. It's just,
hmm.
you never
Wow.
know.
Yeah. We got to get you transplanted somehow. And I
Yeah, we
don't mean
do.
in the dirt. We got to get
Yeah.
you out of there.
At
Oh
this
man,
point,
that's no way to
I don't get
live. I
out of
don't
here
see
soon.
how.
I'm gonna get planted.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't see how people do it. I mean, I like the snow and the cold and everything, but man, and especially if it's on the outside of the house and you got a nice warm fire, crackle sound, and throw some orange peels in there and make it smell good, and it's all festive and stuff. And if you're decorated, even better. You know,
Mm,
yeah, you could make it a nice home, but it's like, gosh, keep it on the outside. You
yeah,
almost
that's
need
that's the problem.
a room just to clear your feet off when you come in because that stuff sticks to you. Yeah, I
Oh,
guess with the
yeah.
Great Lakes up there, it just comes in all kinds of different ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and then we get what they call lake effect, where if the
Yeah.
wind is blowing right across the lake, like nobody else will have snow, but those little towns that are right in that area where the wind is blowing across the lake in the right way, you might get a foot of snow, dude.
Wow. Yeah. Matthew, hello, Matthew, in the house.
Hail,
I did
Matthew.
change my name, Devil Fly Rex. It's uh, there we go. Uh, Homer helped me do that. Where it still says at because they still go by at, but Devil
Yeah.
Flyer at Momentum large caps. I left it large caps, but Omer said, "Well, you might want to do it like make it distinctive instead of lower or all upper. Just uh, and it may be lower anyway. Just do it that way." So I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. But you can't do that unless somebody's took it. So I took it before anybody else took it because there is at least on X and maybe I haven't checked on YouTube that I remember, but there is a copycat out there, another flyer on X, I believe,
Hmm.
or maybe they came up with that all on their own. But
Don't know.
that's
I
me.
haven't run across that yet. I have to keep my eyes open.
Well, I would do searches, and the reason I know I was the first because I did a Google search, and I was the only person that came up, and then he later popped up, he or she or whatever.
Right.
People glom onto that a lot. I get a lot of sex bots, different things. I don't know. It's like, ooh, devil flyer sounds like he likes to fly and have some salacious stuff. Anyway, Carrie in the house. Hello, Carrie.
Oh,
Uh,
damn, Carrie. Yeah, get your doors locked, girl. It ain't safe out there no more.
wow. Yeah, absolutely. Keep, and
Could have been
it
some
wouldn't
crazy.
wouldn't hurt to report that to the police, you
Yeah,
know,
well,
just to have a report on it, you know. That way, if something mysterious were to happen, not necessarily to you, but at your residence, they have it on file, you know, and just a casual mention of that, a little report wouldn't hurt. Yes, please take a look
yeah,
at
you would
Matthew's
you would think.
supernatural.
But, I mean, I don't know the way England's system has gone crazy lately. Yeah, and Kerry says, "Yep, police don't care like they do in America." So there you go.
Well, maybe they don't care like in America, but you still have it on file. They have to file a report, right? Just like in
Again,
America.
I I don't know that it matters that much over there, Rex, because
Well, maybe
their
it doesn't, but
their
uh,
government has an agenda of what they're doing.
yeah.
So I mean, it's just like what's been going on here for the last 8 years. Revolving doors on prisons, keeping criminals on the streets, all this fucking bullshit. It's
Hopefully, you got in stabbings up, and in
mhm,
London, I think, because of the new mayor, Muslim mayor, whatever. Uh, but yeah,
crazy
baseball
world.
bat. I don't know, something. I'd have some kind of protection. What would you recommend, Shadowhawk? And
I recommend for her to get a nice little short sword, something light and very sharp.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, and keep it handily near you at all times.
Keep it
Not where
right
somebody
next to
else can
you.
get to it or find
Right.
it easily. Uh, uh,
Nothing else. Get some like bear mace or a good you know good sized container of mace and just keep
I
that with
know
you
here, you can
all the time.
get. I hear advertisement all the time on talk radio. You can get like a pepper spray shooter or something. That will
Hmm.
hit you with some force like a gun. You use it like a gun, and
Oh yeah, they've got the
uh,
ones that shoot little balls at you. So they
yeah,
actually,
yeah,
yeah,
ex-
they discourage you with pain, but then they also, pepper blast you, which those
absolutely,
actually seem to work pretty good. Uh,
yeah.
I've
And
never
I
had to
wonder
use
if they
one.
could get something like that. That's not really a gun
No, they
over
won't let
there.
them have them in England. They
They
like
won't
having
let
their
them have them.
citizens disarmed.
Okay, all right. Well, uh, wish I could smuggle you something
Dude, you
in
can't.
Minecraft.
People were carrying around steak knives out of their house, and they wrote laws against that now. If you get caught carrying just a knife out of your regular kitchen cabinet, you can go to jail.
I thought Rex had a tattoo, but it's a bit of glitter stuck to my phone. Crime is up because the prime minister, he's a total clueless wanker. Yes, our prime minister is running country into the ground. Veterans who served in World War II are crying during TV interviews because it isn't the country they fought for. Yeah, I've seen some of
Yeah,
those, or at least, yeah, that's pretty
yeah,
sad.
it's sad, dude.
Yeah, that they've had to live that long to see it. But I'm glad somebody's speaking out. They'll probably turn their oxygen off one night in Minecraft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
accidentally kicked the plug on their
Yeah.
machine.
Whoops. Yeah. Well, welcome to a Manic Monday Marathon. Shadowhawk may not be able to go for a while, but I'm ready to go for a little while.
How you doing, Dave?
Yes, Dave. Yes, Dave. Would you like to come in, or would you like to stay out in space and suffocate, Dave? Uh, Three police officers saw a migrant
Excuse me.
enter a B&B holding a knife and did nothing. See, that's crazy. Veterans should be cared for. Absolutely. Hell 420 says Apex Comics. Hey, Apex. Sounds like New York last time I was there. And when was that,
Oh,
Matthew? Uh, I'm really glad I went to Manhattan in 87 now to see an art show. I'm really glad that I got that experience, because now you couldn't pay me to go to New York. Now they're
no,
running.
I got you.
Few years ago. Yeah. 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 I mean, Matthew's not old enough to have been alive in '87, probably, or if he was, he was a baby. But
Well, tell you what,
yeah.
bro. Like I said, I live 30 miles south of Chicago, southwest, and I used to go up there all the time for dinner, nightlife, the museums. But I haven't
Hmm.
been there since. I don't think I've been there since my youngest daughter's been born. She just turned 15.
Well, Matthew says first time he went to New York, he wanted to stay. '87, you were 4. Yeah. Well, you're just a little bit older than my daughter, who was born in
And just tight.
'86. Just a little tight. Yes. I never been to New York City, Apex Comics says. The second time a dude flashed me right next to a police officer. Wow.
Well, there you go, Matthew. A little
And nothing
free
happened to the guy. Wow.
free free souvenir for you to take home
You
with
know what I would do? Wolfman's got nards.
you. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I would have kicked him in the, well, I would have probably been the one arrested them, you know. That was a reference to a great movie from the '80s, Monster Squad. Hmm.
Yeah,
Wooly's
fun.
superior in all ways to to the Goonies. I'm sorry, but I never got into the Goonies. But Monster Squad with the reimagining of the Universal monsters, hell yeah, all grouped
Yeah,
together in one movie. You know, that's still one of the greatest gathering of the unofficial monsters of all time, I think. Even though it's one of those '80s made for, you got a lot of those where, right, with Ringwall and
yeah. It was,
you got a
it
lot
was
of
a
those. I mean, look at Freddy. It even had a very young uh what's his name? That Fanta loves. What
Johnny
is
Depp.
his name? Johnny Depp. Yeah, there we go.
Johnny Depp's first movie.
Hmm. And I was there to see it. See him unsummariously get thrown up on the ceiling and killed or something. Uh
Yes.
if the flasher was Muslim, the mayor will reward him. Well, I don't know about that. Person I go to church with, her dog sounds like a bear. I want it on recording to play when someone comes near flat. Yeah, there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely lights. I know I need to put up some more lights. I was told I need to put some more lights up 1 year before Occupy Wall Street, I think. Let's see. Speaking of police, an officer joined us for our first patrol since one of our team died after being hit by a car. I wouldn't flash, but I was thinking Christian thoughts, laugh out loud. Well. Yeah, I mean, I think I think when I gave my little details about when I was stopped by a police officer, I think earlier this year, uh, in Harrisburg, or maybe it was last year.
Mm,
Uh, I think it was earlier this year, though. Carrie was wanting to know
mm.
all the details, and he was a good-looking young man. For you could tell he was new to the force. He wasn't that old. I don't know how much crime they get there. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's
I
all
don't know.
people say it's kind
Anyway.
of crooked over there. A friend of mine did a
Mhm.
picture of the courthouse and framed the picture a little, and then the mat a little off and whatnot, and that was part of the joke. It was a little off looking at the courthouse.
Right.
Can anyone afford to use extra electricity these days? Oh, is it high over there? That's part of the plan. I think globally, especially over here in
Mm,
America, is run that electricity up. And it's like, the price of it and save the planet and all that
yeah. Yeah.
uh, agenda. And it's like, I'm not a wasteful person. I recycle and all kinds of stuff, you know. I'm not a wasteful person at all. I try and repurpose and reuse, and
Hmm.
I'm pretty frugal. Maybe not depression era frugal, but I'm pretty frugal. Mom, before she got laid up, you know, and couldn't do it anymore, Shadowhawk, she wanted something to do in like that 5 years before she came over here, right?
Right.
And she actually went through the area aging and you know helps people out. And she had like you know you get those ground beef containers in styrofoam, in the pink styrofoam or whatever white, and she'd have them white, rinse them out. She was 90 something years old, out of the depression, and she would clamshell those and stack those up on a shelf on the porch or whatever it was, somewhere, and save those for something else. She wouldn't have my mother wouldn't she wouldn't have my mother throw the styrofoam forms out that she got ground beef in. Uh, she just piled them up and you know stacked them up and saved them. Because she had been through the depression and hard times, and she saved everything apparently. You know, wash it off and save it container
Hmm.
wise, and I've done that too, repurpose containers and
Oh
everything.
yeah, my mom was the same way back in the day when she was alive. She, if it was a, a butter container, I can't believe it's not butter or whatever, it would go right in the dishwasher when it was emptied and go right into the Tupperware cabinet.
Yeah, oh, frugal. Yeah, not fruity, frugal. Um, yeah, I used to be, Matthew says, I used to be a semi liberal until Occupy Wall Street. Boy, that opened my eyes. Yeah, I
Ah,
imagine it
glad
did.
to
Yeah.
glad to hear
I
it,
mean,
Matthew.
you got
Good,
to see all the nuts and flakes out there, right?
good to see you on our side, sir. Hey, old Timothy Olson.
Oh, that explains a lot. Timothy used to be a Democrat until they said you should hate yourself for being white. Yeah. It's kind of like Ronald Reagan all over again in the 60s. He said, I didn't leave the party left me. You know,
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when you get so radical with your, you know, what you believe, you're going to lose some people, you know. Uh,
Yeah,
some
and
of
you're
the
gonna
things.
probably gain some of the wrong people. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
It is
yeah.
what
I
it
mean,
is.
when
Yeah.
you open membership just to anybody, you know, the crazies, you know, and that I guess that goes for a private club or anything. Then you dilute it down and you make it less special, right? It's not an elite club anymore. It's just for
Yeah.
every
Well, I mean,
honker out there that wants to show off and be a goofball. I mean,
yeah.
y-
Look at our chat. We got Timothy and Eric and Gable in here. No, I'm just teasing, boys.
it's true. But oh yeah, Republicans have crazies too, but you know, it's amazing how that gets reported on, but all the crazies like, well, I'm just afraid, Shadowhawk, that if you get too many troops on the island, it'll tip over.
Yeah. You remember that fucking shit, dude? Oh my god.
I am not froze. I'm just
Well, that was like when that
in awe.
Malaysia flight disappeared and Don Lemon was like straight faced went, "Is there any possibility that it's aliens?"
Timothy Olsen says, I openly tell people I'm crazy. I've never heard you say that. Have you heard him ever call himself crazy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
have? Okay. All right.
Timothy and
Okay.
I are very much alike. I adopted it in junior high school. I've never made any claims to sanity, and I don't intend to.
You're autistic. Well, nothing wrong. We like autistic people around here. You know, hell, I might be one. Who knows? You heard it just now, Rex. Never hate yourself, no matter what color you are. Yeah, it says
Good
April
advice,
Pets.
Apex. Unless you're. Oh, I'm not saying-
Tell people. Yeah. Uh, yeah, never. I mean, it's
It's
hard
not easy being
to
green.
a to a worldview. Parents often are young themselves and don't have it all nailed down. And they don't. But children need to be things uh, passed on, right, to their children, and wisdom, and uh, I was fortunate in that because my adopted parents was like my mother is like 30 years my senior. That makes a difference. I didn't realize that till the mid 90s, though, Shadowhawk, till my second wife, to a discussion when we were in a waiting room in the hospital and dad was in the hospital and she was getting to know my second wife and better and talking with her. And just from their conversation, I picked up on like, oh yeah, I never considered that you were older at the time, because she was um and I knew that, like, when at first grade, we would have parties and she would come and she wouldn't interact like the other ladies would interact because they were more the same age. She was older, you know. I don't know how much you got to do to interact, but my mother loves to interact. I mean, she's the hit of the ball over there. She's always thoughtful and checking on people. She's what they call
Right, but
a
but if
lady.
you're the one old person in the group, especially a woman in a group of young women, you're you're gonna feel probably left out a little bit, little pushed over, to the side because you're just not gonna have the same interests. I mean, it is what it is.
Mhm. Matthew says, I wasn't full on MAGA until that. Why is that so hard to get out? Anyway,
Oh,
it's a Monday.
the peaceful but slightly fiery
Yeah,
protest, Matthew.
especially
Yes,
over in Portland, man. Uh, and a lot of that
peaceful and
sun kind.
slightly
Look,
fiery.
man, it's if you really want to push like a movie or book or something like that,
Oh,
throw
Mink is
money at
awesome
it,
with that.
right? Advertisement. Same thing with protests, man. They're flying these people in. They're not part of the local community. There's
Oh
no
yeah,
way they
no,
should be. They're well
dude,
funded.
there's
You
people they
know?
have like files on, like YouTubers have pictures of these people, and over the past 8 years, they've been all over, back and forth across the country. Never once held a job, but somehow or another, they're getting plane tickets to show up at from one end of the country to the other to be there to be in an Antifa rally. Who's
Uh-huh.
financing that? George Soros, maybe, perhaps. You know,
Right.
probably.
Yeah.
I
And when
can't
he
say for
passes
sure,
away, the
but
old codger, uh,
yeah. Well, he's got his fucking kid in there ready to take
he's
over.
got his kid, right? Yeah, and they've got.
Well, hopefully Trump's going to knock both of them out of here pretty quick. I
I
know
think.
we do not have any problem whatsoever with autism in general. Apex Mint Salad
Well,
does an
during the election, I
amazing
mean,
job.
look, man, they're trying to sway things. The guy from Amazon, that idiot was, to get Biden elected, did all that with the ballots and whatnot in the communities
Hmm.
and whatnot. And, but, uh, uh, Soros during this last election, and Mark Levin brought this out, bought like 250 or 60 radio stations, and there's supposed to be a review that takes like 6 months to get, but he was on the fast track. He was buying up these smaller stations, like
Hmm.
especially the Spanish speaking, and taking them over and propagandizing for the Democrat Party with them.
Oh yeah,
And there's supposed to be that's a public trust, you
right.
know.
But when the people that are in the office that give those permits and everything out are on your side, they're not going to point out that, hey, you're doing shit illegal. They're just going to
Mhm.
help you along, right?
Yeah, it's but he was making a big deal of it, and there but should be a big deal of it, and hopefully that stuff is probably like it didn't matter in the long run, thank God, but maybe it's repealed, because there's supposed to be a
Well,
6-month review on stuff
right,
like
but
that,
see, and
not
that's the other
immediately.
problem I've got is like everything with government goes like that. It's like, oh, a year later we find out there was a conspiracy and this and it. But the people who were involved and the people that caused all this chaos and shit never face any consequences. You
Right.
know, we find out this shit is goddamn bullshit, then the government needs to go after these people and make them face up to their fucking goddamn bullshit. You know, if it was a conservative, they'd be coming after you hard.
Oh yeah, and they don't need a reason. We saw that when
You can give
with
them
that.
the simplest reason in the world, dude. Just say something. You know,
Mhm.
say something wrong. I mean, look at what's going on in England right now. People are going to jail just for Twitter comments.
Yeah, yeah, I know that much about it. I really haven't
It's
uh
insanity, bro.
been following
Like,
it like some people have. I filter a lot of that stuff out, Shadowhawk. It's not that I want to be ignorant, but actually I keep up with it on talk radio. Now this time of year I'm not as informed now, which is not to mean that they don't have YouTube channels. I just don't.
I'm
I
sorry,
probably need
Matthew.
to.
Wait a minute, we missed something here, right? Matthew, are you autistic or slightly
He's
on the
autistic.
spectrum,
Yeah, he
dude?
said earlier
Oh
he's
God,
autistic.
I
Yeah.
sorry, I missed that, bro. No, I don't believe in that bullshit either. That vaccines are causing all this stuff. I think it's got a lot more to do with all of the
It does. Yeah.
crap that we stick in our food and how over processed all of our. 100 years ago, nobody had peanut allergies, dude. When I went to school, there were no kids. Rarely, I
Yeah.
mean, rarely was there a kid with autism, and there was nobody with a peanut allergy. Uh,
And
uh,
everybody brought jelly peanut
yeah,
butter sandwiches, peanut butter
you
jelly
brought
sandwich.
homemade snacks every day. You
Yeah.
brought, when you had a birthday, your mom would make cupcakes and you'd bring them in, and it'd be awesome. You
Hmm.
know, and now you gotta get a little Debbie snack cake because that's the only thing that's approved by the school. You gotta have a generic, crappy, overprocessed piece of shit.
With preservatives in it. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Timothy.
tons of preservatives, not just a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Shadow, I tagged you in a screenshot of a Twitter uh, I responded to. You should read it. It's funny. But then
All right, I'll
again,
check it out,
they
Timothy.
were not as informed about that as they are now. Uh,
Well, I mean, yeah,
you
we
just
have gained a lot of knowledge, but again, we've also gained a lot of crap that's just accepted. If you look at European standards for food and drinks and stuff like that, they do not have near the health problems that we have here in the Western world because they don't allow those preservatives and shit in their food.
Timothy, when I was in third grade, I was put on Ritalin, and took it up. I weaned off on it. Yeah, I mean there was only a couple years there, 2, 3 years, but yeah, I can. Probably the last Ritalin I took was in seventh grade. Um, but uh, and I probably didn't even really need it then. But uh, yeah, I mean, how many people, Shadowhawk, did you see? Uh, kids just you got to rush them off to the doctor because we're just not informed about peanut. There were no peanut allergies.
No, dude, not
There
when I was
were
growing up.
none.
I
There
never
wasn't.
knew one kid.
Can you
Not
say
until
engineered? You know.
not until well, even in my first daughter's,
Hmm.
my oldest daughter's school, I don't think we started hearing about peanut allergies and shit until she was like in middle school, going into high
Maybe in the
school.
'90s, sometime in the
Yeah,
'90s.
before all that shit
Yeah,
started.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. About a decade later. I mean,
mm,
the '80s were clear of that pretty much. I mean, I get it. People's got allergies and they're allergic to all types of stuff. I never knew that
shit,
people
Bessie,
were
why are you
allergic to cinnamon. Sabrina's
You fell
allergic
for
to
the
cinnamon, and
sauce?
I knew somebody else, two other people that were allergic to cinnamon.
Yeah,
So you give them a pastry, and all of a sudden they're screaming for a little Debbie instead.
yeah. I know a couple people that took one or two of them COVID shots, and now they're scared to death. They don't know what's going to happen. That's I refused. I was like, fuck you. You're not going to mandate me to take anything. I don't care. You want to try to fucking we we banded together at my work. It was like, you want to force us to try to fucking take shots? We'll strike on your ass. Let's do it. Let's see who fucking gives first.
Yeah. You know, Matthew says, I hate special education. Yeah, maybe about the way, and you feel like you're being held back in some areas and stuff like that. Um, you might have got some individual treatment, though, that you wouldn't have otherwise. I don't know. But,
Okay, Timothy. Yes,
educate yourself. That's all I
if
wanted to
you're
say
being
was educate yourself.
if you're being completely accurate, Timothy, yes, claims that peanut allergies didn't exist 100 years ago are misleading, but they were much more rare and uncommon than they are in today's society. I never
Absolutely.
once met
Yeah.
a kid that had a peanut allergy when I was in school. I graduated high school in 1985. It was 40 years ago. So how do
Yeah.
you go from 0% reported 40 years ago to now what? 40% of the population has peanut
Yeah, it
allergies? Come
spiked. It
on.
was like whoop, a decade
Bullshit.
later in the 90s. Yeah. Uh, yeah, we never had any of that reported. Sorry, you know, never had anybody
I
suffer
was
from
the
that.
only kid in my
It
school that had
wasn't
an
even on
allergy
people's.
bracelet, and I was allergic to penicillin. But I was the only kid I
I'm
knew
sure
that
it
actually had one of
existed,
those
but
little medical
yeah,
bracelets.
I'm pretty sure 80% of it's probably diet. You're setting yourself up for a fall with the American diet. Look at the food
Hmm.
pyramid. We've talked about this. They pushed that for decades, long before I was born. And that was 60 years ago, bro. And it turns out the food pyramid is not that healthy for you. And obesity's been on the rise, I mean, it's just been getting worse and worse by the decades. Of course, look at there wasn't that many brand name things out there to go eat at and to do and since we've gotten more and more on that dough and we exercise that more, America's been getting fatter and fatter and unhealthier, and COVID was the tipping point for a lot of people. Just the way they treated the American people during COVID. That was a real eye opener. And maybe, you know, in some ways, some of the best thing that could have happened, you know, to people, to wake people up. You rub somebody's nose in the dirt and they're not likely to forget it. But although I do think America's has a very short memory because they're always doing the bread and circus, right? To distract you, to distract you, to distract you. And I'm easily distracted, but I ain't that easy. Come on.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah, pretty easy. Well, I'm laser focused when it comes to BS. Shadowhawk, come on, man. If the government's
yeah.
trying to
I do.
tell me it's a turd and they're telling me no, it's a bar of chocolate, I'm like, I ain't buying it. Sorry. Uh, when Obama was talking, I was like, he's lying out through his teeth. He's a socialist at best and on his way to communism, and he's not a Christian. He's a he's radicalized. I mean, but I don't know what he is. He's and yeah, a few other things I'd like to not get into with Mikey, talking about Mikey. But anyway, he's a piece of shit. What they're trying to tell it. I mean, you got armed confrontations and different things, but yeah, I mean, we got it better in America. I'm glad you see that, Carrie. That we're at
Yeah.
least able to arm ourselves and have some inalienable rights that we can go to court. But if you're fighting the government, you're probably fighting a losing battle. We got to keep it from turning tyrannical. We got to stand up. If we don't know our rights, the founding fathers said we're bound to lose them. And I'm sad to
Yeah,
say that
cool.
people don't know right from
Learning
wrong.
learning constitutional rights, at least the
Yeah. And you can go on
the
YouTube and
Bill
do
of
that.
Rights. So
Look up
uh,
David Barton and Wall Builders on YouTube. You will learn so much. And he's such a lovely man, to just listen to. And you'll learn about the richness of America and what the founding was and what your rights are and the role of government. I watched, and I've actually got some of that on disc. That type of stuff is sold in like Christian bookstores and stuff. And years ago, I bought a whole set from David Barton. I hadn't even watched three of them, but now that I have a TV with a controller, I am going to watch them. Uh, I watched one episode, The Role of Government, what it was supposed to be, and we have so gotten away from that. Well, we need more people to learn about it. What's not being taught in school, and I would say being self-taught now is probably more important or just as important as it was at the founding when there were no
and,
public schools.
and to Carrie's
Everyone was
comment,
homeschooled. Hello, they had to be. You think we landed over here on the Mayflower and there were schools already set up? No, it was all homeschooled, you know.
well,
And
yeah, but
homeschoolers are still in the top 90 percentile, like 98% or something. I don't know. Look at the stats. They're high. Got
don't
some
do it,
smart
Matthew.
kids
They'll drag you out in the back alley and kick your ass, dude. You
Yeah.
can't trust
The
some
the
taxi guy.
public school, I went to public school for 12 years, same school. So I did have that continuity. A lot of people don't, like Janet from Another Planet. She was a military brat and moved all over the world. Now that could be an education in itself, right? About how the
You
military
know,
works,
yeah, but
how
what the scary
different
part about
countries.
that is too is she got just as many shots and vaccines and everything else as her dad did. Because every time you have to move to a new country and shit, you have to get a whole nother round of that stuff in the military. And God
Wow.
knows what
Yeah.
that's been doing to our vets. Is there a reason so many of them have PTSD? Maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. I'm not saying
Yes,
it
we can
does,
move on
but
from politics. It gets
there's
annoying,
no
Timothy.
everything is interconnected when it comes to the human body. Everything you put in, everything you listen to, everything you see, it all affects you either mentally, physically, or emotionally. And human beings are very complex animals.
Yes. Yes. And I'm getting a headache. I'm getting a headache. I had a draw
Moving
stream. I only got one done. My little zombie character, and actually, he's got his left arm. He's only got a stump. Uh, but on this
on,
one,
the only guess his name is
of course, he
Stumpy.
wasn't. He didn't always have a stump, right? Um, so at some time he gets his arm cut off. But anyway, here is him, very Star Wars like. I put the stars back there.
Oh, cool.
Because he carries a blade and whatnot. And recent ones that I've done, Minefield there. And I know you've seen these, Shadow. I'm just showing people that may have not seen them. This almost looks like the Japanese style tattoos or something, where they got really outlandish demon type characters. That's Slaver, by the way. I like that one. He's cute. Zombie Jedi. Yeah. Luke Spazwalker.
I like Luke Spazwalker. That was
Spazwalker. Does he go around jerking all the time?
okay. I guess.
You know, got ticks
Yeah, he's got a
instead
little
of
tick,
fleas. Yeah.
couple of fleas, maybe a tapeworm.
Tapeworm. Maybe a tapeworm on a good day.
Give me Give me a rotten egg and a burnt piece of toast. I got a tapeworm, and that's all he needs.
Yeah. George Lucas had a big worm. Remember the Millennium Falcon was almost they
Oh yeah.
flew into it,
Mhm.
into the cave with the Minox and then flew out and it comes
Well,
up
I mean, even Jabba the Hutt is. I mean, he's more slug-like, I guess, but still kind of worm.
spike tongue demon. Yeah.
Oh my God.
How did you survive shoveling snow? I'm just kind of wondering.
Um, it was rough. There was a
Yeah.
lot to go through. Recovered fairly well, and then, luckily got to work today. And the contractors that we got, when they know that we're not there, they'll actually shovel the sidewalks. So I didn't have to do
Hmm.
walks this morning when I got in. But tomorrow, who knows? Because we're supposed to get anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow or 2 to 6 inches of snow overnight tonight. So I might be digging my way out to get out of the driveway in the morning, and then when I get to work, I might have to dig all the walks out so that everybody else can get to work. Yay!
Yay.
I love my life.
Uh, some birth some birthdays today. Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah. Richard Pryor, of course, he's passed away now. He died in 2005. Can you imagine that? He died at
Mhm.
65. That's not very old, my friend. Uh,
Well, he
man,
had lived fast and hard for a long time, buddy.
he did, yeah. And remember when he got burned and then Michael Jackson got burned in the 80s as well?
Well, yeah, but Richard Pryor got blowed up doing
Hmm.
freebasing cocaine back in the
Right.
day.
Yeah,
That
there
was,
was a difference. Yeah.
well, that was before crack was invented. So you used to have to like do shit with like ether and different chemicals and stuff to purify your cocaine before you messed with it back in the day. So crack made everything
Hmm.
just so much easier for everybody. You didn't have to fuck with shit.
I remember him in Superman 3. He was a hot, in the 80s, he was a hot comedian, in the early 80s.
Oh, yeah, dude, I had one of his early comedy albums when I was a kid. That shit was freaking hilarious, dude. I mean, but yeah, he was
And
he was a troubled soul.
Dick Shawn's birthday, he passed away in 87. You may not know him. He's remembered for his role as Sylvester in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, 1963, and the hippie actor in The Producers, 1968. Uh, I I've probably seen that, but I definitely remember, I'm coming, mama. And he's crying. There he is
Yeah,
from
yeah.
one of my favorite comedies because it had everybody in there. But yeah, he was like digging it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It had like a treasure trove of stars from back in those days that were in that
Hmm.
movie. It was ridiculous how many people
I
were in it.
remember when I went to California in 1969, they had beads up there instead of doors like in the background here. Uh,
Oh yeah.
Even though this is a mid 60s movie, beads were a thing in the 60s. Uh,
I do. I told you my whole camper when uh, Mama Hawk and I had it. 14 years. As soon as we moved in and took over the next summer, we decided we were gonna turn it into a little hippie hangout. And we tie-dyed everything. We brought in tie-dye curtains, tie-dye sheets, tie-dye fucking pillowcases, put up Jimi Hendrix posters everywhere. I painted uh, the kitchen bright yellow, the living room green. Whoa! And the fuck, shit's falling apart over here. And the bedroom blue. So it was yeah, everything was psychedelic in there. It was awesome.
Bette Midler's birthday, she's 79 years old. She'll be 80 next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never been a big Bette Midler fan.
No, she did, of course, various movies. The one I always remember, 1979, The Rose, Down and Out in Beverly Hills, and 86, Ruthless People, in 86, Outrageous Fortune, and 87, Big Business, and 88, Beaches, 88, For the Boys, 1991, Hocus Pocus, 1993, and The First Wives Club in 1996. So, yeah, very limited on her acting, really. Also singing, though, right? I mean, she's done some albums, I think. Trenton Williams' birthday, also a major star in many films. Hair, 79, Prince of the City,
Treat.
81.
Yeah, I just watched a movie with Treat Williams the other night. We were watching an old horror movie. Had him in there.
Really? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
he passed in 2023, just a couple years ago, at age, few years ago, and age 71, while riding his motorcycle. He was hit by an ongoing car.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. But
So he didn't
I
have any
really
help
haven't
with you
seen him
or
in that
anything. He just
much. You
got
know, it
mowed
says
over.
he was a major star. I don't know that I would have ever told it, said he was a major star, but that's just me. Would you call Trent Williams a major star? I think that's a little mischaracterized, but whatever. Whatever. Also, today, Little Ricky from I Love Lucy, Richard Keith, born in 1950, best known for TV role as Little Ricky on I Love Lucy and the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour. He's the last living regular appearing cast member for I Love Lucy. Wrote his autobiography, Life After Lucy, in 1994. He's 75 years old, and he grew up on TV, baby. Basically, the first major TV baby on TV. Wouldn't you say, Shadowhawk?
Sure.
Little Ricky from because he was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
baby, right? I mean, you got
I
to
thought
see
he
him
was.
grow up on.
I didn't realize he was an actor. I thought that was actually their kid.
Uh, I
I mean,
well,
but I didn't know no better back then. I just assumed that Ricky and
yeah.
Lucy had a baby. It's like, what do I know?
Well, her second show was out. Maybe the very end of I Love Lucy. I'm not sure how long I Love Lucy ran. Was it live and still pertinent when if it was like when we were born, up to the mid 60s. And of course they ran that stuff in reruns again and
Oh
again and
yeah,
again.
I saw him. Yeah, many times as a child.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of kept the legend alive. There was a movie from 1943 where her hair was dyed red and she kind of kept it and it kind of became her hallmark hair color, you know.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, see,
yesterday
that's
was,
the crazy thing, dude. Was I didn't realize Lucy was Lucy when I was watching like I Love Lucy and the Lucille Ball show and shit. I had seen her years before in the Marx Brothers movies, and she was a little hottie. I didn't know that like kind of closer to middle aged lady with a husband and a career and all this kind of crap was the same girl. It I didn't connect that for years that was Lucille Ball was the same girl I used to see back when, and
hmm
she was a
yeah.
hottie back in the day, dude.
Oh,
Holy
she was a
shit!
leading lady. Yeah. But she didn't have the red hair up till that role in 1943. So,
Mhm.
she was blonde and I don't
But it
know.
didn't matter back then either, did it? Because it was black and white. So even if you had red
Yeah.
hair, people would
Lesser.
probably think
Yeah.
you were a brunette. You know,
I mean,
so
she was on that first generation. I mean, eventually it became color, right? I Love Lucy. I don't think it was
yeah,
all in
I think,
black.
but that didn't come around till like the maybe a little bit after the mid '60s. I don't think where color really got that popular.
Yeah, well, really kicked in, but now there was limited color things like Poncho, OVO, whatever that's called.
Hmm.
That was early color. All of those were filmed in color.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Yeah, but
for early
again,
50s TV. There were
it
some
was a
shows.
small percentage, and it was the ones with the bigger
It was
budgets. There
with
wasn't a
bigger
lot of
budgets,
shows.
right? Yeah, it didn't take Gunsmoke that long to become.
Oh,
I think they were one of the first. Yeah, take a drink. Early '60s.
they're starting. My daughter's
What's
school
starting?
is calling to deliver the
Oh,
spam calls. I'm
oh,
getting the weekly messages from my daughter's school, so every 5 minutes from this
okay,
point on, my phone will be ringing.
wow, that's
Oi,
irritating. Yeah, yeah. Oi, oi.
you think?
Yeah.
And hail George Lucas.
Yesterday,
You should have never sold Star Wars.
yesterday
Fuck.
would have been Dick Clark's birthday, born in 1929. He was actually, I thought he was my dad's age, which my dad was born in 31. Uh, he's actually a couple years older than, or,
Wow,
because he's a November baby, end of November.
he's about 10 years younger than my dad.
He did American Bandstand from 1956 to 1989. Wow. Hosted
Yeah.
5 incarnations of the Pyramid Game Show from 73 to 88, and creator for Dick Clark's New York Year's Rockin' Eve, 1972, where the ball dropped, right?
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
they're still
Hail,
doing
great
that.
cloudy day. Good to see you,
He
sir.
passed away at age 82 in 2012.
He had a hot wife right up till he died too, right? Wasn't he the one that had that crazy? No, no, no. I'm thinking of Casey Kasem. He had that
Yeah,
crazy
Casey
blonde that he was
Kasem.
married.
You,
Yeah,
there's a story behind that. Of course, she did a little bit of acting, right? Um,
she was in a couple of sitcoms and stuff as like a guest
but
star or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, she a big breasted woman, a
Oh,
blonde.
dude, she was a big buxom blonde, just model
Yeah,
girl, dude. It was just
I
like
thought you didn't like
spilling
blondes.
out all. Yeah, she was only spilling out all over the place. It was like
Yeah.
you waiting for them tits to pop out.
Well, there was a story. There was a story where about that is that uh, when she would go on dates and whatnot, she had a question that she would ask people, and she said Casey Kasem was the only person that could answer that
Oh, I
question.
remember that.
Yeah, where she would say, "What are the color of my eyes?"
Yeah, and most
And
guys
he
had
knew.
no idea.
He knew. Yeah, because everybody was looking down instead of looking her in the eye. Uh, I could
Well,
see
dude,
that.
when you got a wreck like that, you, it's gonna get some notice.
Yeah, I mean, I like it that you're like me. You're not really a blonde, a blonde. You're more of a brunette guy or something, but you do appreciate a good blonde when they, occasionally.
I got nothing against them. I would never pursue one. They're not like something that I desired. I can
Right.
appreciate the beauty and what have you, but I prefer petite brunette women or like medium voluptuous auburn red-haired girls. I mean, those have always been my top two categories.
With a rebel yell, we'll cry more, more, more. Billy Idol's birthday yesterday.
Yeah, Billy turned 70, dude. You believe that shit?
70 years young. Yes.
It makes me feel old, my friend.
He was born
I
in
couldn't. I
1955. He's 2 years older than Elsie.
I know. I
you
showed
know,
that to Mama Hawk last night. I was like, "Fuck, you believe Billy Idol's 70 years old?" She's like,
he sold more
oh,
than
there's the
40
school
million
again. Sorry,
albums worldwide,
you
with
take
nine
care of it."
top hit songs in the US and 10 in the UK. Dancing with Myself, White Wedding, Rebel Yells, Eyes Without a Face, Flesh or for Fantasy, Moni Moni, and Cradle of Love being some of them.
You could wow, wow.
Rock the Cradle of Love. Yeah. I know Billy Idol's because I had it on cassette and played it all the time. Probably this album right there. I can't
Mama
remember.
Shadow is a Russian mail order bride confirmed. No, she is a Spaniard mail order bride. Pale Rider, get your shit together. I will have her come over there and stab you repeatedly. She
Hey,
likes to
pal
be
Rider.
stabby.
It's good to see you, PayPal.
I mean, Pale
Uh,
Rider doesn't realize he's messing with a Spaniard, and she's very stabby.
very stabby, and she will urinate on your lawn for free. I hear, or maybe it's
It's
their
ch-
own lawn.
it's fertilizer. It's good for the plant.
It's not. It causes aphids. It's urination. Not so
That's
much.
only male pee. Female
I
pee
think
is
you.
makes everything bloom and be
eh,
beautiful.
it's richer, right? Okay.
Yeah,
More fertile. Is that what you're trying to
Mama Huck
say?
is a very dark brunette, almost black, very big dark brown eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and pale skin with a slightly green tinge to
Yeah, a green card, maybe.
it.
You gonna let me get away with that? You know I'm
Won't let
joking.
that slide tonight, Rex.
Okay, go let that slide. Now the 27th.
Pale,
Here's another blonde that had a birthday. Sadly, passed away at age 39 in 2007. Anna
oh,
Nicole Smith, born in 67. Um,
oh
remembered for
God,
her
she was
reality
horrible.
TV and her deceased husband state court
Honestly,
case.
everybody thought she was sexy, dude. I never liked it.
Never
I never
liked.
cared for
Okay.
Marilyn Monroe either. I don't know why people think she's so hot. She's a
Yeah.
chubby ass fat blonde girl to me.
Well, I mean, standards were different back then.
Whatever. But that new broad, the one you're just talking about, she was
Yeah.
wanting to be the new Marilyn Monroe, and she was chunky and fucking
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
boobed, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not my style, man. Not my
Yeah.
style.
I got it. I got it. It's all good.
No, I mean everybody has their own preferences. I never understood the whole where people
Hey,
went nuts
Elsie.
for Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, it was the times. I don't know. There. Bob Kane got to smang on that. Apparently, Bob Kane very
Really?
early on in her
Okay.
career was with Marilyn Monroe, and don't you know that was a feather in his cap, or at least
No,
he
I
thought
imagine
so, especially
back in
after.
the day, yeah. But that's because I mean she was pushed by the media and Hollywood and everything that like this is the world's
Mhm.
sexiest woman, right? I mean it's all about marketing too.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean there was a lot of money put back in the old golden age.
no, but
I don't know
old
the
Hollywood, yeah,
what
they
do you
used to
call it,
spend a
the
lot of money.
uh what's the name
Pale
for it? It
Elsie, I
was
don't know if
like
you heard me the first time, buddy.
the studio. Anyway, the
Yeah,
studio
the
system,
studios
whatever.
were yeah, they were throwing a
Mhm.
lot of money behind
Hey,
promoting
Eric.
these people.
Eric and Boyd in the house. Shadow has a padlock on the fridge confirmed. PayPal says.
Nope.
Don't need a chastity belt. She will stab you. I love these little mashup covers. Look at this one, Shadowhawk, with OMAC going up against Wonder Man, and one of Jack Kirby's
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Avengers covers,
That's my
158.
favorite Wonder Man costume too. I like that one.
I do too, and that was his original costume back in the '60s when he was a villain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
still his best costume though. I like that one.
I do too. They need to bring it back. They never needed to get rid of it. I mean, they could have tried a few new things, but they should have done a limited series. Says I'm back with his. I would like to see that OMAC versus Wonder Man. Absolutely, that'd be a knockdown, drag out fight. Hell yeah.
Oh, Pale Rider Sophia Loren versus Marilyn Monroe. No contest. Sophia Loren hands down. Done.
Yeah, I would go with.
Not even a
I
question.
don't know, man. I guess. Yeah, I mean, Raquel Welch,
For
pretty cool too.
for
Yeah,
for me, not even a
for you.
question.
Yeah.
Everybody has their personal taste. If you like blondes, that's your thing. I get it.
No, I never said that. No, I've not been. I'm kind of like you, more of a brunette type guy. A
Well,
redhead.
come on.
Uh,
Okay, shave them both bald, stand them up next to each other. Marilyn Monroe or uh, who the hell did we just say? Uh, the Italian
Shave them
girl.
bald. Shave them bald. Yeah.
Stand them up
Uh,
next to each other. Everybody's gonna go for Raquel Welch every time. That's
yeah, well, I mean, she's got the assets, yeah, and I loved her in Fantastic Voyage, for sure, among other things.
no,
Yeah, there
no
you
way.
go. Raquel is the greatest of all time, says Pell. Yeah,
She is super
uh,
hot, dude.
I
I
loved
can't
Ava
argue with you
Gardner
on that.
too. I love Ava Gardner. She's a cutie.
Ava
Uh,
Gardner was pretty. She
I got to
wasn't as
throw
hot
Ava
as
Gardner. She
Raquel
was
Welch
Canadian.
though.
Uh, anyway, um, check out the differences here. Look at that, man. Black bear, polar bear, grizzly bear, and Kodiak brown bear.
Yeah,
Claw size. Wow.
that's insane.
Either one would mess you up, but
Dude,
wow.
even that black bear claw it's got to be like about 3 4 inches.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, where are Kodiaks? Are they up around the colder regions, right? Look how colorful that grizzly bear
School
claw
phone.
is.
I
Urgh.
think I okay.
Where do you find Kodiak?
Kodiaks are
Yeah,
they're like all the way up in the Arctic Circle. They're
I thought so.
a mixed
Yeah.
breed between grizzlies and polar bears.
Oh,
At least they
absolutely.
think
Yeah.
they are.
Polar bears are very aggressive when you're around because they want to eat you. I've seen an 18
Yeah, and polar
foot
bears are huge.
tall polar bear when he's up on the, of course he was stuffed,
Hmm.
but man, he was a monster. That chick and Buck Rogers won't my 5-year-old Decker up. Um,
Was that
yeah,
Aaron
I
Gray?
was a little,
Yeah,
yeah, I
Aaron
was,
Gray was a
yeah,
hottie, dude.
she's, yeah, I showed a picture of her recently in her 70s. You know,
Yeah,
Kodiaks are in Alaska and further north.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude. Back in the 80s, I
they're
loved
great.
Aaron Gray. Oh
Yeah,
man.
I didn't hate her, but you know, uh, eh, you know, I don't. She's one of those that I'm amazed by that people, are so turned on to her. Uh, Here's a posting by Steve Rude. Kind of a nice James T. Kirk portrait there, huh? Done this month recently. Oh, I thought that was James Kirk, but I see I guess that's Nexus.
No,
It's
it's
got the
Michael
lightning
Myers.
bolt there. It kind of reminded me of James T. Kirk, though, but apparently it's a Nexus because you had the lightning bolt over the shoulder. Huh.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he used William Shatner as a model.
Uh,
D-
okay.
doesn't
Maybe.
really look like the Nexus character, does it? To you?
Well, I've never seen a Nexus character without a mask off, so I couldn't tell you.
No. Well, you did see it in that little film he did, the little trailer. Uh,
Well, maybe I saw it for a split second in the trailer. Like, sorry it didn't
right,
register.
right. And I don't think you were a big reader of Nexus, were you?
No, I've never read Nexus, as a matter of fact. I think I may have 1 or 2 issues that I picked up from the original series. What was that, back in the early 90s or whatever?
Yeah.
But,
Um, that looks like a young Steve Rude. I got to disagree with you, Apex. That did not look like a young Steve Rude. I'd met Steve Rude in 1985. and 86. Now, I don't know how old he was
Kind of looks
then.
like your boy Zach. I don't know.
Your boy Zach, really? Yeah, well, yeah. That's what Pale Rider says. Yeah.
No, Pale Rider was saying Zach from
Oh, Zach from
Saved by the
Saved from the
Bell.
Bell. Okay. Wasn't he the
Um,
dark haired,
or
nerdy
Eric
guy
was
with the big
saying.
nose? Looked like a
No, he
Jewish
was the
kid?
blonde-headed kid, the
Oh,
fucking
he was
like
the oh the
the
blonde. Oh
big jock
yeah, I
kid.
could see the resemblance. Yeah.
Mm.
I could never
Yeah,
get
he was
past X's costume.
the darker kid was Slater with the
Same
curly
as
hair.
Warlord? What? I don't get that. Who's Warlord? Not DC character Warlord, right?
Warlord? Oh, I loved Warlord from Mike
Oh, I
Grell.
do too, but he must be talking about he couldn't get past the. It's supposed to. I never got till we interviewed him. I never knew that Nexus was so closely akin to his love for Hanna Barbera. Because he loved all those cartoons. He's like a decade older than me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he loved like Space Ghost and Herculoids and stuff, and still does. I never got the reference. I might have
Oh,
read
okay.
more.
I get it. Eric is saying Warlord's costume was a little bit on the gay side. Yeah, I could
Oh,
see that.
okay.
But I loved his helmet and his sword, and the stories
Oh
were
yeah.
just.
Oh, I love the helmet and
And
sword.
Mike
Yeah.
Grell on that book, his artwork was just fucking amazing.
Oh yeah. I think he did some of his best work at DC on that
Dude, some
for
of those
sure.
Warlord covers are still. I mean, I can pull them up in my brain and have a perfect picture of them. I can't say that about a lot of books.
Yeah.
I used to be able to say about more, but my memory is slowly leaving me, people.
Spinner Rack Spotlight November 30th, which was yesterday, because we're into December now.
Now you gotta
1982.
remind us, you fuck. No.
I actually got to sell this in my store in 1982. X-Men God Loves, Man Kills, graphic novel number 5
Oh yeah, I still got mine.
by Chris Claremont and Brent Anderson that is kind of Astro City fame. I still have my
Hmm.
original copy of this.
Yeah, I still got
We
my original graphic novel where this was one.
Yeah, I
Good
actually got to
story.
sell this in my comic book shop. That was probably the
Yeah,
first
it was a
graphic.
good story. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know if it was groundbreaking or fucking record setting or anything, but it was a damn good story. Oh, stay
LZ's
in, LG. Yeah, I'm supposed
likely
to
to
get another
freezing
6 inches
rain
of
here.
snow
Yeah,
overnight.
and it may be freezing here too. I mean, we got rain already and it's wet and damp out, isn't
Oh,
it?
bro, it's already freezing here. It's like 20 degrees, 25. And anything that hits the ground is going to stick.
Hmm. Yeah, we've had years where it does that stuff and then it snows over it, and you got this
Hmm.
crust of ice underneath it, and it
Man, you
becomes
can't
very
even see it.
dangerous.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. I hate that
Hmm.
shit.
Some other books that we got to carry in our store from 82 was this one, the very first appearance of Hobgoblin. Uh, Actually
Mm.
had the free tattoos stuck them in there.
Yep, I believe I still have that one in my collection.
Yeah, first appearance of Hobgoblin. That one quickly went up to about $60, which was a big deal in the early 80s, early to mid 80s.
Oh yeah, yeah, that baby shot right up there.
Mike Zack on Captain America here. Loved his run on that. That was one of our better selling books because it had Mike Zack. Look at that Moon Knight. I guess here's your werewolf representation for today. Tr- Try and get that in high order. You know, somebody's trying to call
Oh,
my
I
phone.
got
I'm
that one
even
too.
getting a tech call right now, probably.
Yeah,
And
I got this
Indiana
one too. That's a
Jones,
good one.
we sold a few of that. That was kind of like hit or miss.
Yeah, I never bought any of them.
Well, we carried it in the store. It wasn't our biggest seller was Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was just never big on like the movie comics. Like I didn't start collecting the Alien or Predator or any of the Dark Horse stuff back in the day because it was like,
Mhm.
it's a movie comic. It's not gonna last. It's not gonna be good. And then now you find out, man, there's a lot of great artists and good stories and shit.
Here's another Moon Knight from '83 with Mike Kaluta cover. Little Doctor Strange there.
I was gonna say that Doctor Strange there. Yeah, I think I got that
Hmm.
one as well. I got most of the Moon Knight stuff. I was a big Moon Knight fan.
And Saga of Crystar, that started right when we opened up the shops. And
Yeah, that was like what, 82?
Crystar was on the very first Marvel Age because we carried that too. I actually bought this issue because it had Nightcrawler right there, and it was almost like a painted cover. I think this is uh, Michael Golden cover, by the way. Not
Oh,
much to it, but I believe that's Michael Golden. Yeah.
looks like it could be. Looks like
Hmm.
Michael's Nightcrawler.
Micronauts,
No,
uh,
I love the Micronaut.
Butch Geist here, 48
Mm,
page special, number 67, I think, 57, 67, somewhere in there. Butch Geist, yeah, he came on and Magic. Remember the Magic little
Oh yeah,
limited
yeah.
series,
Oh yeah. I still got.
Colossus's
I
sister.
think it was a four issue limited. I got all of them. I think might have been a six.
Hey, they both had the Devil Flyer Devil's Tail, so uh,
Hmm.
you would have thought Magic and maybe Nightcrawler would have got together.
Had some little tail babies.
Apparently, they were trying to do something with that character. She became popular. I don't know. Um, because she got her
Yeah,
own
they
limited
had like some.
series.
They had some kind of one of the big storylines involved magic. Um, she
Hmm.
had kind of a big part in it. So yeah, that helped drive up her popularity for a little while. I can't remember
83
exactly what
Walt
the
Simonson
storyline was.
here. Wonderful, wonderful cover here on Thor. You read most of the Walt Simonson Thor, didn't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's one of the issues where he's getting ready to fight the serpent that encircles the world.
Mm.
The I forget what the name of it is in Norse mythology.
I
Uh,
think during this time when the Hobgoblin came out, those were John Romita Jr. issues. This is the 250th issue that came out. That's
mm,
definitely John Romita. And the only reason I say that is just because even Spider Man is the hardest to figure out who drew him. You know, and now if it's Al Milgrom or like Gil Kane or somebody distinctive like that, you can generally tell. But generally, I can tell you, okay, this is Junior because of Hobgoblin, the way he drew Hobgoblin. Um,
right.
Spider Man's very hard with that face mask. Here's another Butch Geist. I always liked his little stockiness, and then of course you got the Wolverine, you got the brown and the a yellow ochre outfit crossover with the X Men. Everything was like, hey, if you want it to be popular, cross it over with the X Men. So X Men and Micronauts crossover because they were supposed to be like part of the microverse, right? And John Burns' Tumblr cover. I don't think I ever owned this one. This is a nice one though. Attack of the Tumbler. Ooh, doesn't that throw fear into you? Ramita Jr. Yeah, that's Ramita. Doesn't look like his work to me. Yeah, early work is going to look different. He had much tighter work. Uh,
Yeah, when
I
he
can
got a
look
little
it up
older.
to confirm that though. Mrs. G in the house. Hey, Mrs. Good Stuff.
Well, Miss Good Stuff. Good
Saying,
to see
hey,
you,
good.
darling.
Hey, guys. Magic and Colossus brother and sister team. Yes.
Yep.
My brother loves Thor, especially the Simonson run.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
probably
Simonson
creep
run
out
was
the house.
good, man. I mean, that was good stuff.
Wow.
Funny thing was,
I
like, I didn't really like take to it at the time. You know, when it first came out, like the way Simonson was doing his art on Thor kind of
Yeah.
threw me off a little bit.
Hmm.
But like as I got older, I was like, man, this is just good shit.
Apex says God Loves Man Kills has been reprinted 17 times.
Mm,
Wow. So that makes my first
good.
printing maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might make my first printing worth a couple of bucks. Huh?
Yeah,
Cool.
maybe. Thor stories were my father's favorite comic as a kid. Well, you
Oh,
probably
hell,
had,
Ninja Jenko.
was that the Kirby?
Ryan James in the house. What's up, Octagon?
What's up? What's up? I'm one of those who never cared for Beta Ray Bill, Eric and Boyd says.
Yeah, he was kind of. I wasn't too sure about him the first time I saw him, and then I started to like him like the second appearance. I don't know. He was one of those characters that was a little strange.
Well, I mean, he had a horse head. Hello.
Yeah, it was like
Right.
Thor with a horse head, right? I mean, it's
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
fucked up.
Well, I
It
mean, you
took
got to
me a
say
minute
they
to get.
shook it up and they did something different with Thor. I don't know if it was a good
Yeah,
thing or
well,
bad thing, but
I'm just saying it took me a minute or two to get used to it, you know. Like, and then I was like,
yeah,
yeah, I don't mind this Beta Ray Bill guy. But first time I saw him, I was like, what the fuck?
yeah, I think that was everybody's reaction. I was reading it then, though. I was glad I picked it up. Not sure if I've got his first appearance or not.
Oh, I think I might have his first appearance. I'm
I
not
know I've
sure.
got multiples of his second appearance, but that's different,
What's up, baby? Let me
when it
go ahead and
comes to
pull that
value.
down
I think
soon.
I might have his
Close them.
first. I had to replace all that stuff, 'cause, his ass. Uh, I just mentioned this. Let's see what year that is. 1981.
No,
Yeah,
Howard the Duck. No, sorry.
that's a hard no. The very last full size in the original run, the first series of Adventure Comics, right here. And
Dial
then
H for
after
hero.
this, with 491, they went to a digest size for like 2 years and
Mm,
unsummarily canceled Adventure Comics, one of the oldest besides Detective Comics and Action Comics, Superman, and all that, uh, titles. There was no reason. It was an anthology. Could have been anything. And they canceled it at, like 2 years later. But this was the very last cover done by George Perez, dealing with Dial H for Hero. Love these Dial
no.
H for Heroes. It
Yeah,
was,
they were fun. I mean, I maybe because I was a kid, you know, I imagine myself getting a story in the comic. I don't know.
yeah. Uh, yeah, I mean, I actually submitted to DC Comics one of my characters. So they own the rights to one of my characters. Now they'll probably never use
Yeah,
it.
so they stole it from you.
Yeah, they stole it from me. I was trying to get in the book too. But now I thought it
I
was a
know.
novel ideal. I thought it was a pretty cool ideal to have fan based and acknowledge the fans, just like we acknowledge the chat, right? That's kind of key
Exactly.
to what we do. Acknowledge the chat. Tell them we're going to ignore you today, or whatever. Uh, in November of 1975, this came out, and if I saw it, I didn't get it, because it's a holiday special, holiday grab bag. It
Mm,
didn't grab me, but this is one of the Treasury editions. And if you like Treasury edition looking stuff, and we do,
yes.
Go over to Fund My Comic and check out Fembat. Fembat has the Enforcers. Have you seen the cover to the Enforcers? It looks like a Treasury edition. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily have to be Treasury size to have a cool looking homage cover.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no need to reinvent the wheel. Just saying.
Hail
Just
Saboteur Comics in the house.
design the
Good to
cover
see you.
around it. Fembat has the distinction of Shadowhawk probably promoting this campaign more than anything for like 2 years before it even came out. True story.
Yeah, I promoted the shit out of it.
Groovy. Far out. If you like vampire action with a groove, big changes, I believe. I don't know if he's ended the t-shirt bundle. I mean, it seems like they're still up there. We do have a new color version by Omer Glitch here to the poster on Fembat. I don't know if you knew that, Shadowhawk, but he did a flat coloring on that, and he's continuing. We got to see that a little bit last night. Anthony
Oh yeah,
Sika
no, I missed that. Yeah, that's cool.
sort of flatted out there, and he's also rendering a little bit more while still being homage there. Whoa, look at that, man. Yeah. Nice t-shirts, man. Nice t-shirts. Went all out on the t-shirts on this campaign. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Big bundle for $190. You get everything on the campaign. Got a fan art section here. Let's see which one. This is Marcus Killigrew's Tatas.
Hello.
You can't tell me that's the moon, though. That moon is not circular. Looks a little more like a rogue asteroid that looks like an eyeball. Just
It
saying.
looks like she might have come through a portal or something. I don't.
There you
I don't
go.
know.
There you go. That's a good excuse for a wonky looking moon.
Mm-hmm.
This is Tank Ferret. He did 2 pieces up here. Now that's a pretty neat little pixelated
I like
moon.
that one. Yeah, that one's cool. I love the way Tim
Uh-huh.
rendered that one out. That's very nice.
He does some good stuff. John Eaple here, showing some bootay
Yeah,
on that. Yeah,
yeah.
almost
John's got got a little style to him.
definitely looks like some armor on her, right? Then you
Yep.
have Acupad Peter, aka Pad.
Peter
With
A. DeLuca.
his stuff's always got a lot of energy in it, right?
Oh, dude, that's a great shot right there too.
Crouching
So cool.
Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and I like this because it just pops, man. Look at that color. He did a great job on the coloring.
Yeah,
Traditional
that's
colors.
just a great like cheesecake shot. You know.
Oh yeah.
Leave it to Omen. Leave it to Omen, our boy.
Yeah, I'd rather not, but don't.
Yeah.
And then you got Don's here. That looks vicious.
Yeah, Don's is. I like that one a lot, dude. That's like.
Well, black and
That's
white
like.
with a little red Frank
Yeah,
Miller
that's like.
look, right? Yeah.
Fembat like at her like meanest, darkest moment.
Feral.
You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
she went all
she's getting ready
feral.
to
Yeah.
fucking kill your ass.
You back Fembat, you get a giant Fembat bookmark for that the $1,000 mark. Everybody gets that. And now we've reached at $2,200 the Dan Wallace trading card, which you can get this as a cover as well. So 2,500, you get Fembat fan art collage
I
poster.
don't know, Carrie. It may be. It just may not be on the trailer. I'm not sure.
But there's the enforcers, and I hope you put an image of the enforcers cover up on the left hand side a little larger so people can appreciate it, because this is a nice cover that you kind of composed here. It's very nice, looking like a treasury edition, even though it's a mini comic edition, which is kind of apropos because he does mini comics. He does micro comics. He does some very small stuff. You know, in a good
Oh,
way.
Carrie, Apex says your fanbat art will be included among the other fan art on the collage poster. So you made it, baby. You're there. Congrats,
$2,263 for
Carrie.
51 backers.
Carrie.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Fembat needs to be milked for those udders. Needs to be milked with those udders. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. She
Maybe
looks like
one
she's
day
getting
I will.
a little full.
The other fan art wasn't posted in the campaign. Don needs to be an art print on the campaign. Well, I mean, there's so much that you can do. Uh,
I mean, if you can afford to do a free print and and throw it in, that's awesome. But like
gotta
to
have
make
the
it a
cheddar.
set goal or something,
Yeah,
you gotta weigh your options. But
yeah.
congratulations, Carrie. You will be included on the collage fan art poster, so you've made it into a comic book, young lady. That's
Isn't that
awesome.
awesome? That's great. Some more comic books that I sold at my comic book shop back in the day. Back in the day. All Star Squadron. Love this title. And we were talking about Sandman, I think yesterday. There's the
Mm,
Sandman right there on the cover with the yellow and purple.
yeah.
And that's the sort of DC's iteration of Thor there with the more traditional, red hair, Viking red hair. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of DC Thor, I guess.
well, Jack Kirby depicted Thor first for DC Comics back in the 50s, I think, and he had the red hair and everything. So,
Mm,
yeah. And there's Steel there in the foreground. Steel. This is a Joe Kubert. Uh, I loved it because it introduced me to all the Golden Age characters, and a lot of these were written by Roy Thomas. Roy Thomas really loves the lore of comics, and I love it.
oh yeah.
And Levitz was the same way too. Action Comics here with Gil Kane cover, him inking himself. You can really tell his inking. Shadowhawk. He was like Alex Toth. He used a pen instead of like a quill or anything. He just used
Yeah,
a
I know.
pen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It
All right,
it
hey
had
Rex, I'm sorry, buddy, but it's been a long day, and I'm falling out over here, man. I still got to worry about making dinner for these girls, so I'm gonna have to bail, let you go.
okay.
Love y'all, and have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.
See you, Shadowhawk. Hope you have a good dinner. Happy December to you, bro. We will have on Feature Friday. We will have we will talk about Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane's coming up. And then we will do Jim Aparo, Dave Stevens, and round out the year with George Perez. Can't wait to get to him. Can't believe he wasn't one of the first ones I did. We have a very special guest on Hex's channel for the Rex Hex and Apex. Uh, Apex, you will have to let Hex know that he will have to send me the link on Instagram. One of you people will have to send it to me on Instagram or Facebook because I cannot get the links for the show otherwise on X right now. I will be on the mic stand on the 21st, the first day of winter, although it seems like it's winter already. Wonderful Detective Comics here with Solomon Grundy. I think I went back and bought this issue, actually. Dick Giordano doing the inks, Ed Hannigan, the artist on that. A lot of Ed Hannigan stories of the time uh, on World's Finest covers. And Captain Carrot and the Amazing Zoo Crew, I definitely bought this for a while. I think I'd already bowed out by this point. If you can keep me over a dozen issues, it's probably something, you know. Uh, yeah, I mean, but why make stretch goals that you're probably not gonna, you know? I doubt you're gonna make $10,000. Let's just be realistic. Sorry, you know. I mean, I've made stretch goals up to $5,500, but I don't think I'll get there. But anything's possible. Also from 1982, which is kind of a sweet spot. 82, 83. If I can share, let's see. I got to take it down first. Oh no, I don't. Oh, just at the. There we go. Now it's off to the side. There we go. New Mutants #1. I think we carried that in my comic book store. And Daredevil here with a without Frank Miller, you know, his inker, Klaus Janson with the cover. Klaus Janson was doing some covers after Frank Miller stopped, you know, on the series, or kind of lighten the load on Frank Miller at the time. Marvel 2-in-1 97. It only ran 100 issues. Interesting up there in the Ditko box, you've got a George Perez thing head, and you've got a John Byrne Iron Man head. Ron Wilson on the cover here. He did most of the series. Only ran 100 issues, though. I didn't see the end of that title coming at all. Dazzler here. Number 25, one of the latter issues. That Dazzler, when I first started my shop, Dazzler #1, we back ordered it. That was Marvel's first direct comic uh, to be, you know, their first direct comic. From 1977, just to give you a look at the character that we were talking about a while ago. There's Warlord, a nice Mike Grell cover. I didn't really start reading Warlord till after Warlord, believe it or not. I mean, till after the Mike Grell run. I think toward the end of his run, around 40s, you know, up into 50 and past 50, and then it was taken over by other artists. Uh, but yeah, I enjoyed reading some Warlord back in the day. You're surprised that Dazzler lasted 50 issues? Yeah. Love her. Does Dazzler bedazzle her costume? Yeah, I think it's reflective and helped with her mutant light powers. You know, I think she's supposed to be like almost like a disco ball. You know, because she definitely had a disco feel to her. Just focusing on like 82, 83 comics. Those were comics that I had back in the day. Uh, Carried in my comic shop. because that's when I had my comic shop, was within right at the beginning. I mean, it had already begun. Like I said, I had to back order. Uh, they've totally got this one wrong, saying it's 1976. These are not 1976 comics, and I called him out on that. It's like that. Those are not 1976 comics. You got that wrong. 1983 here makes me question everything now. John Byrne cover here. That, after his X-Men stuff, he started inking his own stuff, which I thought his X-Men inks were great, especially on the original thing. Uh, when they made him lumpy. What if Conan the Barbarian were stranded in the 20th century, sort of a dirty, hairy, painted? This is a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Remember when that came out? Al Milgrom here cover with Black Cat, Peter Parker revealing himself, number 87. And I skipped one there. The New Defenders there with the bees. John Byrne Beast down there, up in the Ditko box and down there in the barcode box with various artists doing the other heads. Maybe John Byrne Angel head there. It looks like maybe. I like to identify the different artists in the Ditko box. Let's see. Just want to show this one from 1981. There we go. First appearance of Captain Carrot. I thought this was a stupendous idea where you would, have extra pages, an extra preview, 16-page preview. I will be doing that at some point, uh, just as an extra bonus story, but introducing new, you know, a comic within a comic. I thought it was great. And first appearance and 16 pages. That's quite a bit. I think it ran the count up to like 48 pages for the whole comic. You'd have the Teen Titans story, but right in the middle, you'd have like, you know, in this case, Captain Carrot. But the new Teen Titans started out that way in a 16-page preview. And this is issue 16. So they did it for a while. The new Teen Titans started out that way in DC Comics Presents number 26. And I hear that's a hard one to sell, slabbed. I really do. That it takes years to sell that one. At one point, I had like 8 copies of it, I think. Nice George Perez cover here. Yeah, I just like the ideal. I mean, there were certain books that had certain inserts in there, like a Warlord that we looked at a while ago, had the Arak Son of Thunder 16-pager in it. There was Amethyst 16-pager. There was all kinds of, was there an OMAC? I can't remember. But I love the 16-page inserts in the comics. I think that's a very novel ideal. Somebody needs to bring that back, and I shall bring that back at some point. Let's look at some more comics here. Let me just find the right year here. Also from 1982, another new Teen Titans with I don't know if that's the introduction of Terror or not. Let's see. Yeah, introduction, her first. I love this character, man. New Teen Titans was one of those, of course, with George Perez artwork that I read for a good long time till he was off the title, or at least collected it. So I would have carried this in my store. Good seller. That was a good seller. Also, the Flash here. Carmen Infantino cover there. And love this Saga of the Swamp Thing. I don't even know if we were carrying Saga of the Swamp Thing. I don't even think we were kind of limited on what we could order. But man, what a cover. I love that. I'm thinking about doing a Bog homage cover to this one with all the roots and stuff. That's killer. And yeah, I remember this Ed Hannigan and uh, Dick Garagano cover, I think, inks on the inks. Uh, Hugo Strange there and seeing Batman versus Batman. Very cool. I think I've actually got one of those in my collection today. Probably bought it on eBay. I've had to replace a lot of things. Mm, well, have to, from 1983. Also, one of the sort of lazy George Perez, but very effective cover here where they, hang up their suits there. Skip one there. There we go. Introducing Robin the Boy Wonder. So this was the introduction, another Ed Hannigan and Dick Garagano cover. He did a lot. Ed Hannigan was very busy doing covers during this time. I remember most of his covers, though, from World's Finest. Did a lot of World's Finest. Gorilla Grodd here cover with Carmen Infantino. And maybe Anderson on the inks. I can't remember. And George Perez here on the very first Star Trek. That was a thing that got started up. During that time, although I never bought any of the Star Trek books during that time. Also, 1982, I think 16 pages, not two fingers inserted. Let's see. Wait, I'm channeling Perez right now. He says, "Get off my back, Rex." Okay. Had a lot of those in the middle school. Yeah. What, Star Trek? This is Rick Leonardo. I never can say his name. Great, little mini series here, Vision and Scarlet Witch. Got to learn a lot about Vision and Scarlet Witch, and I think this is the mini series where they had babies, had their children made their first appearances. Nice ROM cover, Gene Day cover. Nice ROM cover. Gene Day would just blow you away. I think he did some work also on for Eclipse Comics a little bit later after this, like issue 3 had like Egyptian sort of sarcophagi like this with nice word, huh? Sarcophagi that was in Aztec Ace. I actually had an original page at one point. George Perez here, no mistaking his work here on Conan. I would look at it and G.I. Joe. I bought a few G.I. Joes. When we first started, G.I. Joe number 1 and 2, I think. G.I. Joe was another probably pretty good seller for us. The cartoon didn't come out till years later, so it probably would have sold better for us if it had been on TV. Also from 1982, you had Paul Smith, and I forget these alien-like creatures, but great storyline. I like this being a double-sized issue. That was a good seller for us. Al Milgrom cover here with Henry Pym, Yellow Jacket on trial for abusing his wife, the Wasp. That was kind of different at the time. And the Hulk, I remember that, having multiples of that. I always liked this cover. That may be a Bill Willingham cover. I'm not sure. And also the character back there, she appeared in the Hulk, Rampaging Hulk magazines. Sort of the two-fingered alien with the crest helmet, finally making it into the main book. instead of just the magazines. I thought that was exciting because I remembered her from the main book. And Power Man and Iron Fist really wasn't on my radar. I mean, I think it was around this time I bought the, like, maybe the third appearance of Sabretooth was in one of those, and he was an interesting enough character. And I got to reading Power Man and Iron Fist occasionally. I thought it was interesting, the ones that I read. I have shown some of these before. 1983 here, the Power Man and Iron Fist, G.I. Joe, like that one. I bought the silent issue that didn't have any dialogue. I did buy that, issue 17. I don't know who this Conan artist is, but man, that's nice. It's 155, I believe. Marvel Age, yeah. We ran Marvel Age from number one on up till when we ended our store. I don't think we ran this long actually to have these books. We only ran about 8 months. The Brood, yes, the Brood. Yeah, I love it when the Brood had laid eggs, very alien like, um, in Wolverine, and his healing factor kind of fought that off. This is John Romita Jr. on X Men. He had a different style early on. Some people like his early style, but not his later stuff. Some people like it all. Some people like his later stuff better than his early stuff. I don't know. It was more of a traditional style back in the day when he was doing X Men. Love this cover. I can't remember who did this cover, but just I think it's Kevin Nolan cover, actually. Did a wonderful cover there. Dragon Man going up against the Hulk. Although the pink background, so you got an all green background there, pink background there. And it should be said they were going up to issue 300 here, and Al Milgram's doing sort of a transformation Ditko box in all the boxes. This was one of them, I think. The Avengers is Al Milgram here with Spider Woman. I think finally the radioactivity in her blood was taking its toll. The Shroud, the Shroud on the cover there behind Scarlet Witch. Don't see the Shroud very much. Of course, the art piece that I used to own, the Avengers heads up there, are all John Byrne heads that were featured on that page that I used to own up there in the Ditko box. That was sadly lost in my fire. Wah, wah. They're still using that. I've got a T-shirt over there with some of the Byrne heads on it. That's exactly why I bought it. Oh, and one that I missed from 1983 here, Rom. I think that's a P. Craig Russell cover. It looks like. I know Ditko did some. Kind of looks like Mike Zeck to me in her face. Kind of looks like something P. Craig Russell, and it also looks like something Ditko would do. So I'm not really sure who did this cover, to tell you the truth. Maybe a combination of Ditko and Mike Zeck, inking, or P. Craig Russell inking. I don't know. Starshine Unleashed. Starshine. I couldn't tell you her name uh, in a trivia pursuit. I couldn't tell you her name, although that character was around a good long time. Uh, Great cover though, and I do like the ROMs more and more as time goes by. Uh, let's see here. Spinner Spotlight, not a comic book, but a breakthrough adaptation in its time. November 1975, Wonder Woman pilot movie aired. Linda Carter and Lyle Wagner crushing it in their respective roles. Absolutely. Uh, Set back in World War II originally. And that's when the Wonder Woman would run for 3 seasons. The first season would be set in World War II, the other two in more contemporary times. But first began as a movie, which loved that. Watched that when it came out. She looked so young there. The defining role for her, and a great feature role for Lyle Wagner. Lyle Wagner was one of the candidates that ran against Adam West for the 1966 Batman, and he almost got it. Not quite. And of course, was on the Carol Burnett show for years. Wonder Woman in all her glory. I have a cousin that looks just like her. Oh, even to today. Oh, you know, so good. Love my cousin. Both my cousins. There's my mother's oldest. From 1984, here's a John Romita Jr. cover right there on X-Men. Sort of a mashup, of Professor X and what was it, Calypso? Sort of mutating them together. Kind of weird image, but you can tell by the lineage there and everything that's Spider-Man and the Avengers in that issue. But that's John Romita Jr. That's when he was starting to change styles, was during the X-Men stuff as he went along. Seems the longer he went along on that series. Another holiday special from 1975, Holiday Spirit Edition from DC Comics. I didn't pick this one up either because this was before I started collecting. Christmas with the Superheroes. And there, back in the back, is Sandman, the Golden Age Sandman, in his purple and yellow outfit with his, and I cannot remember, Sandy, might have been Sandy, called Sandy, his sidekick. I can't remember. Anybody know? The 1940s Sandman. Of course, he was in. As I said, the most I've read on him was in the early 80s uh, All-Star Squadron. 1974 holiday special here out of Marvel Treasury Edition. Holiday grab bag. I never, this was before I started collecting, 1974, but the grab bags, not so much. I'd look through them. There were some Treasury editions I passed up because $1.50 was a lot to pay. A lot to pay. I think these ran about 48 pages. I could be mistaken, but they were thicker, Here's the back cover to that. That's pretty innovative. If I'd seen that back cover, I'd said, hell yeah, I would have got this. That's a nice one. I don't have this one, but I need to get it just because it shows the front and back, of the characters. That's kind of innovative coming through the wreath. That's pretty neat concept. Something different like that, I would pick it up. Absolutely. From 1983 also, and I missed a lot of these, uh, you know, uh, like the George Perez uh, covers that he did on, although this isn't George Perez here. Um, he did have a good run before this on Justice League, and I followed it. I probably bought this one too with all the weird animals and stuff. The Beast Man. The Beast Man. Vigilante, yeah, we carried that in our store. That was a big thing by Marv Wolfman and Keith Pollard and Pablo Marcos. They're going up against Cyborg from the new Teen Titans. Keep skipping that one here. Come on. There we go. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's got some wacky stories, man, even at this point. Look at this. This Gil Kane inking himself here. That's a wacky thing. I don't even remember seeing that one. Joe Kubert cover here, DC Comics Presents. Of course, this would only last a little bit of longer because Crisis on the Infinite Earths in 85 would wipe this title out. It would have less than 100 issues. That's pretty sad, actually, because that was always great crossover title. One title that I did read all the way through, the very last issue came out in 1981, was the Savage She-Hulk, number 25. Very last. Mike Vosberg did all of these except for issue 1 and 2, which were done by John Buscema. A little different Ditko box here where she's crying. I'm not sure who the artist was on that, but the Ditko box always featured the John Buscema She-Hulk, which I kind of preferred to the Mike Vosberg. Mike Vosberg would go on to do some work in animation, and also because prior to this, I wasn't even familiar with his work, and he did some work on G.I. Joe. I know in the comics, a few other things where it really wasn't that familiar with Mike Vosberg. Uh, Usually a title I won't read up to 15 issues on it. It loses its appeal to me. But there's a few. I was determined with She-Hulk, her being a new character in that first series, and I kept reading it all the way up to the end. Sad, I guess, when they ended it, but it was, you know, I own a couple of number ones. I went back and made sure that I got a couple of number ones. John Byrne cover here, inked by Terry Austin. So the first couple of issues, 1 and 2, we sold in our store, of course, first few issues of this. It sold okay. Terry Austin doing some ink over John Byrne. First time, some of the first stuff he had done, I think. Or maybe this is John Byrne inking himself. I can't remember. But I think Terry Austin actually inked some John Byrne on this series, if I remember right, at least on the covers. I think this is an Ed Hannigan cover. I bought this with the Stilt Man and read it. And Mike Zeck on Captain America here, going up against Baron Zemo. And we skipped one there. Doctor Strange. I was reading Doctor Strange around this time. Let's see what else we got here. Here you go, from 83. This is looks like Al Milgrom cover to me. The Kingpin and Hobgoblin. They overused Hobgoblin. He was very popular, trying to establish him. I think they overused him there at the beginning. Butch Geist here, X-Men and Micronauts miniseries again, number 2. Interesting series. I picked that up back in the day. And John Byrne on Captain America here. John Byrne cover. And Doctor Strange here again. Nice painterly light colored cover. I think we've got time for like one more. Let's see. All right, how about 1984 here? October 1984. John Byrne cover here on Alpha Flight, the year that I graduated high school. Introduction, the first appearance of Talisman. So, that's got to be worth something someday, maybe. First appearances increase collectability. This was Charles Vess. He didn't do a lot, it seemed like, in comics, but he did some very nice covers. This 261 with the Hobgoblin. Charles Vess. He did the cover to Web of Spider-Man #1. That was the first time I saw Charles Vess. A later Indiana Jones #26. Some of the latter ones, like the late issues, are hard to find of Indiana Jones, and they're worth quite a bit, actually, because people weren't collecting it at that time. And a Blevins cover here, Doctor Strange with the Black Knight from the Avengers, sort of guest starring. Anyway, going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. I don't know. I think I will probably just work behind the scenes tonight. I could do a draw stream tonight, but I think I'm going to work behind the streams and actually clean and organize and get some stuff done. So be safe out there and watch that slick ice and all that. If that's what you're doing now with your weather. Uh, Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you again tomorrow. That means tomorrow on the 4 o'clock shadow. So keep collecting.